everybody, it's Cinnamon Coney, your art Sherpa, and today we are going to be painting a tribute to one of the most beloved ambassadors in the animal kingdom, Koko. Sadly, she's crossed the Rainbow Bridge, and it's definitely the end of an age of awareness for all of us, and we're all going to miss her deeply, though I'm sure she's in the big, giant, beautiful forest mountain in the sky. On the mic today is my husband, John.
Hi, guys.
He is going to be tracking with all of our cameras so you can keep up with every part of the action so you can create your own beautiful painting for yourself at home. We're going to be working from this reference, which just in all candor is not Koko. It's an image I licensed. Actually, I looked at many gorillas, and this particular picture was the most Koko-esque of everything that I found. And no, I appreciated the kitten suggestion, but we didn't do the kitten because, we got to leave at some point. So adding a kitten would have really extended that time. But of course, if you'd like to, you totally can. Shall we go materials, John?
Absolutely.
All right. So, and happy Canada Day.
Oh, yeah.
The Canadians. All right. So I have my Traceable on here. I have rubbed graphite on the back of it. And I've also already put the wishes on my canvas on this particular day. It's not really canvas, it's a board. This is a 9x12 board that's pre-gessoed and ready to paint. The rest of the paint colors are in the description below. And the weird special material we're going to be using today is upcycled and recycled plastic, another part of our sort of ecology-minded thinking that we're doing, where we upcycle and reuse things before we just, I don't know, throw them away. That's my plan. Doesn't really make an impact, but it's the thought that counts. How you doing, John?
Really good.
I need some coffee. Is everybody
that's good.
ready to trace our Koko one and then do our wishes?
Well, they're all wishing you a happy birthday.
It is also that.
They are very happily wishing you a happy birthday, and they say that if
so
I
much.
had them, that I probably should be throwing bubbles on you. So we'll sing.
Texas snowflakes for my birthday. Boom, 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 boom,
We'll
boom.
put some Texas. I got some Texas snowflakes.
It's
There
too
you go.
many snowflakes. When did you turn this thing on? It's so many. It's like right on me. It's like a blizzard of bubbles.
It's the intensity
I'm
of
so festive. Okay. Luckily, none of it's in my eye. That would be like a really great show. Ow, ow, show. So how this basically works, we provide this traceable. It's on our website. If you have not seen the update to our website, you have really got to check it out. It's so easy to find stuff. It's completely changed the game. But this is one of the traceables that's up there. And basically, you rub your pencil on the back like this, and then you're going to very quickly trace over every one of the black lines, and that's going to transfer to your canvas. That's how that's done. You just do that. Now, I recommend, you'll notice that I've taped this down in 3 places. That's so that your traceable does not move. Because if you don't do that part, it is gonna go somewhere on you, and that is going to make your job so much harder. And the whole point of having this wonderful tool is that your job is not harder. And there's a lot to painting wildlife as it is already. No need in making your job much harder than it needs to be. All the wishes on today's board are wildlife related just for today, and then also a birthday wish to all the people I'm sharing a birthday with, and then happy Canada Day to Canada, because I share a birthday with Canada. So the main wishes are safety to mountain gorillas, an end to poaching, safety and compassion for all living animals and beings on the planet, and then, of course, happy birthday. I'm going to come back through and strengthen many of these lines, and the reason is that I'm going to do a really cool background I have never shown anyone on this channel before.
What's that?
Well, they have to stay and be surprised. But go get your recycled bags. The only thing I'm going to say, if you use the grocery bags, guys, the printing on the bag will transfer to your canvas. There's a traceable theory in there somewhere, I think, right? But for the purposes of what we're doing, that may not be something that you want.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just making sure that the very important information that I need about Koko is here, so that as I'm painting her in. I'm capturing her in her shape well. I love the hands. They're just incredible to me. And the taper of the fingers is also incredible. Now here, she's actually holding this wonderful flower having a little sniffle, which they do. They stop and smell flowers.
Well, yes.
So
Because flowers smell good.
Please don't poach them. Because they're beautiful.
Yes.
They're beautiful. And we got lots of modern medicine, so there's just really no need, right?
Indeed.
Some Dwam stuff. There's like replacements for all the stuff that we do with these animals. So I would just encourage the world to think about that and protect beautiful, beautiful creatures like mountain gorillas.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to give love and light to all the people that do it. Also say shout out to the caregivers of Koko during her life. I'm sure this is a really challenging time.
Yeah.
All right, so I
there.
feel like she's sort of in there, right?
Yeah.
And now I know many of your brains are exploding going, but it's acrylic. And you've got pencil, won't it bleed up? So I'm going to do a couple things here, which is going to seal it down in sort of an isolation coat and allow me to do the next part.
Gotcha.
I'm going to take my Indian yellow and a number 10, what is this? Ruby Satin. It's the nearest brush to me.
The closest thing you grabbed.
The Indian yellow works incredibly well because it's so transparent. It's a glaze. Therefore, it's going to leave a lot of my pencil lines untouched.
Oh, yeah.
And then as it dries, it will seal them down. Isn't that cool?
Oh, that's true. I had not even thought about that.
Now we're just going to glaze it and seal it. You could add GAC 100 to this if you want to really, really make sure that pencil doesn't travel up through the layers of your paint. But because she's so dark, it wouldn't hurt it if it did. Which is why we don't have to be that concerned about the conservation part of that there. And we can worry more about the conservation of mountain gorillas, which we should. Or at least enjoying painting them.
Yes. Painting gorillas is very
Painting
nice.
is a wonderful thing to do. I like bird watchers and nature photographers and nature painters because they're like out there doing all the things that you can do, but being very gentle in doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
There's a...
Isn't this a beautiful... I love this particular yellow. It just is luminous and warm.
It really is. Shh.
And I used, to do the wishes, I used a yellow watercolor pencil. That way they just sort of vanish into this. Like we would want it to. I'm only going to take one very streaky little coat to get this. And then we got to let it dry.
Noelle was asking,
Hi, Noelle.
can you use spray varnish on pencil?
Yeah.
Or maybe a gloss medium to seal that down?
Absolutely, you can. The only thing that the gloss medium or any of that, like GAC 100 or gloss medium and varnish might do, is that it can sometimes make a really smooth surface, and so your paint doesn't really have the tooth it wants to stick. But you can always just go over it with clear gesso, so it's not like there isn't always a way to get there. So don't feel stuck or in a cul-de-sac of your art journey. I have to dry her.
Do you? Well, that requires some technical swapping. I have to go...
My canvas
beep.
now has is like a female gorilla.
See, I de-beeped the beeper to beeping, and now you can
tell them all about the new website and all the new traceables and all the new stuff we're doing on watercolors and all that. Well, I dry.
While she's doing that, I'll say, right. On our website, well, actually, if you look at the link in the description down below, what you'll find is a quick link to this project page. And on that project page, you'll find a link to the Traceable, all of the materials that you might need to do this, and maybe even some links to other projects that might help you along. Now, there's been a lot of cool advancements on our website. You'll find that there's a video. I'm actually right out there with you right now. We have a whole new video section. So if you'll click up on videos, the search tool right there will allow you to search for any topic in there. So if you want to look for different fur colors or different animals that you may want to be looking for, like dogs, or I think we've got some really cool hedgehog ones that are up there. There's a bunch. You can just go up there and just type in any of those keywords, and it'll help you find them. So a link to that is in the description down below. And we've got some new watercolor projects that are going on up
Ooh,
there.
they're so fun.
So you should check those out as well.
Yeah, the watercolors are really fun. And there's new ones every day.
Oh, sure.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Don't hold me to it, because sometimes I just can't.
Well, that's over there on IGTV. We're working on that vertical format.
Learning it.
We'll have to share some of that over here at some point so they can see what we're talking about. Maybe you have to make a little.
I think they gotta go sign up on Instagram. Force them.
I'm gonna make sure we make a quick link off the website here soon.
Yeah, we are getting that
It's challenging to get to there sometimes, but we've got a little web page coming together to make it easy for you guys.
I'm going to go over this little palette I've got afoot and explain some of what I'm thinking here. I would say the Prussian blue is a bigger deal for me in all of this because it's almost a chromatic black. It's so dark, and I have to put out some actual black, and I'm going to miss this because it's a dry day. I'm going to miss it because it's a dry day, though I do have some phthalo blue. This is nice in the greens and in the foliage and in the plant, and so that's actually why it's here. Whoops. Can't use caps today. And I'm sure I have glazing medium, but I'm going to run out and grab it in a second. So let's go over this. I got Prussian blue, burnt umber, cad orange, cad yellow medium, zinc white, titanium white, Mars black, burnt sienna, phthalo green, and phthalo blue. And I have some Indian yellow. I've got my 2 things of water, and again, I have, this is like the wrapping. This is my onion bag. This is the wrapping from my canvas, and you could just use plain cellophane. And we're going to do a very cool textural background. This is going to give you like that feeling of like forest or greenery, but also be a little abstracted, and I think bring this piece into some modern feeling. It's something I'm excited to show you. I'm going to get my number 10 again, and I'm going to make up some neat colors. I'm going to mix some of my, see this, the Prussian blue into my phthalo green, and a little of my burnt sienna. And I'm going to very carefully come around and put this in spots, little spots of this. And I'm going to work quickly enough that it doesn't, I don't want it to dry. I'm going to come all around Koko. Yeah, you can all put that back on.
Okay.
I'm going to go all around Koko, and then I'm also going to make some very, very light greens. And to do that, I'm going to use my Indian yellow and my green and a little zinc, which is my preferred. And I'm going to come between there. There, making the nice light greens and filling it in. And I got to go kind of fast. You guys have got to go kind of fast because you don't want your paint drying on you. Don't let your paint, don't let the sun go down on me. Right? So you got to get that on there. And then I may even, this is my trick, I may even mist so it doesn't dry on me. And then I'm going to take my plastic and press this little sucker in. And without getting the printing on here, I'm going to press this in. Yay! I'm gonna sip some. Is this wrinkled enough? Yeah, okay, it's wrinkled enough. You want it to be wrinkled. Wrinkles help you.
You're one-handed. You're like, I got this.
I'm
gonna
a
have
pro.
a sip while I'm waiting.
I can paint and drink my coffee at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how that. Oh, that's some nice texture. And that's some nice texture there as well. So that gives us some really fun texture for our background that we get to do around our beautiful subject. Now I can also come back while it's still thinking, get a nice little crinkle and pounce up any more that I want to, say. And just create that distant little texture that's behind her. It's fun. It's like just the right amount of messy. And it is exactly what the doctor ordered. I'm going to take a number 6. And I'm going to get right back into my yellow and into my zinc. And I'm going to come here and make sure that this little spot that I sort of missed is blended in. Just covered. All right. Now I've got to go through and block out values and zones, like how light or dark something is. And so that's going to be a lot of, like, say, taking a little of my burnt umber and, say, my Prussian blue. And maybe coming right here into the eye space. And putting, like, that shadow in. And then right here, maybe under the chin. I'm going to be looking for my dark values. Kind of coming in there. It's quite dark here. I might even go deeper, darker, right? So you might even get a little of your Prussian and your black into that, and then come around here. It's easy for me to put the flower back in, but it can be hard for me to put values back in. So it's nice for me to work that in. Notice that I'm just loosely brushing. I'm not having to be super particular. Okay. This is going to come down like this in the shadow under the hand. Because again, you're just talking about values, and you'll see like the yellow and everything kind of glowing through. As I'm going into areas that I need to do lighter, I simply can add a little bit of my white to say, okay, this is a slightly lighter value. And I might be a little more brown in it. That's what I'm going to be doing, is I'm going to be going around her and blocking in. And it's this part of it, I think, that takes it into the 3-hoot range, is just getting those values. But if you've been trying to learn values, this is a great time to do it. And come right here around her hand. You see I'm just layering it down at this stage. And then, you know, at the top of each knuckle, I've got a little bit of a highlight right here, don't I? Highlight right there. And then I find that there's a highlight up here. So right there at these joints and at the top of these knuckles, there should be like a lighter highlight. And then you can go right into your darker values with your black. Trying to pull in at each space here. It's going to be real fun when we get to do things like the fur. I'm going to go really, really into my dark, dark black, and I'll even deepen it with this blue under where the finger might be tucked. And that's what we're doing, is we're just building up these values. I'm going to shadow underneath that. Come with some highlights here, because the top of this is lighter. And it's just, that's what you're doing, is you're just finding that space, lightening the front of each of these, and blocking in. As you need to. Now, I love this up top here, and there's this wonderful sort of, I'm actually going to do an interesting thing here. I'm going to take a little of my Cadron Orange into my burnt umber, and I'm going to come up here at the top. I'm going to add this. This will be this cool little glow. I'm going to have in the fur. This painting is going to have, we talk about it in acrylic paint, ugly stages.
No, it just has layered stages.
There's going to be some ugly stages. At the brow, I'm adding a little bit of this very noticeable rust color.
It has the unfrosted cake stage.
This is definitely going to have some unfrosted cake stage.
It's very tasty cake.
It will be tasty cake.
It's just not fully frosted. Don't eat paint.
Don't eat paint.
Sorry.
Such good advice. The don't eat paint advice. Okay, I might come in here with just my phthalo blue and my black. And maybe a smidge. And I've switched it from the Prussian, right? Into this, and I'm going to come in and patch as much of this as I can. Now, you know you're going to have flour and all kinds of things there, but you really, really need to still try to paint in what would be underneath your flower. Putting some nose all around the face, and then we're going to definitely come here. And come right there and around. Because this is about creating this dark space around her. I appreciate you all indulging me in painting her for my birthday. She's sort of my birthday treat to myself.
Well, you know, it is your show. We do get to paint those
spot.
things you like to paint. I like watching all the things you like to paint.
I'm hoping that some of our more confident beginners are like ready to take on a project like this. We've had a lot of requests for, I'm going to take this dark color right here, for wildlife.
You know, I think that these are some of my more favorite ones to watch, too.
The
wildlife ones?
Value here. It's just really fun, isn't it?
Well, I mean, like, I don't get to paint because I just don't have time in my life. But even if, I mean, like, if I did, these would be the ones that I would be doing.
I'm going to add a little bird's out of this. I'm going to do this little brow. There we go.
I like the wildlife ones.
Do you like the wildlife ones too?
So they're fun for me to watch.
And again, guys, I'm just loosely sketching her in, which is why I'm like, some colors here. And then, you know, the ear is quite dark, so I guess I'm going to come right here and be like, no, I'll have a like dark little ear. A lot of this is very dark. And I'll just be like adding like a little bit of white here and there just to create the value sets as it comes around, you know. That's what we're doing. We're just creating the values. I think back to the days, and I'm going to put the black behind the flower that we know we're going to be adding right here. And it's weird. There should be this strange sort of like, gorilla. I got a gorilla for sale. I got a gorilla for sale. There should be a little bit of a gorilla kind of coming out of this blocked in painting space. Even at this stage. This is a lot about if you're abstractly painting something, you do this sort of shaping and work. So this is very good for those of you that are trying to get more abstracted in your work to be thinking about how was this done and how might you do it. Get some little burnt sienna into that. Now, capturing all this loosely. And then we'll come back and work each space diligently over the top of this. It's really interesting how it builds out after that. A little more of my blue and black. My phthalo blue and black. I come down here. And again, just loosely painting it. Now, I am going to change brush direction right here. So that later when I'm putting in the fur, I've kind of captured some of that. But this is just about getting her in. Let's get a little bit of our white into our mix and say, oh, no, wait, there's a light area right here and kind of coming up. And you can also put that right there. So she's just roughing in real fast, isn't she? I'm going to get even more light area because this is quite light right here. This patch of fur, super light. And notice how crazy, look at that. It's just very loose, isn't it? This is what we mean by painting loosely. All I'm doing is just putting down paint, and I'm kind of just breaking up my brush strokes, and I'll get some darker values right here and come right here. Maybe add a little white to it, just to get this blocked in.
Now I noticed
I'm gonna
JC,
get,
she was in here. She was asking, "What's your favorite animal?" I kind of know this one, so
it's a horse.
yeah, I was just gonna let you,
I mean, it's if you've been in for a long time, you know, there's sort of a joke that I have sort of a girly painting style. We're actually got a poll right now on Facebook of like more manly subjects that I could paint. And so, of course, of all the animals, I couldn't be like a panther. It's a horse. Totally a horse. I'm just adding my little values, making sure that the lights and darks are where I want her. I'm going to add a little more light right here. I really love horses. I love painting birds and fish. I like painting other things. Just straight up, I've never painted a mountain gorilla before. This is just how to paint things. So it's like, oh, okay.
Yes, everyone is in agreement. Horses do rock. Horses are a
They do, don't they?
popular thing. Yes,
They do. They just rock. Now, while she's having a dry, I'm going to get my clean water. And I think I'm going to get one of my scruffly brushes. You know how I like my scruffly brushes. So I think I'm going to get my number 8 Cambridge, which is bristles and filaments.
It's a many flagged brush.
It is a mini flagged brush.
That's why it seals down so nicely.
That is why it seals down so nicely. John's been reading up. I'm going to get some zinc and a lot of yellow into this. And I'm going to do something sort of interesting. I'm going to come here and not through everything, but I'm going to paint some light areas of plant work. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
I haven't decided if I want to go ahead and bother like putting in any of the twigs, but I do want to put in some of these sort of rough leaf shapes over this, like you do. I love Indian yellow. And just add, there's some more green into that. I don't want to take out all my texture, but I just want to add this here because it's going to actually create that sense. It's so crazy how it works, but it totally gives you this blended abstracty background. Go figure. There we go. Just a couple spots. And I think I'm going to lighten up this corner a good bit. But leave a bunch. So see, that added another layer to that background, creating some dimensionality, but still keeping it out of focus. And I kind of am already pretty pleased with her.
I really like it kind of at this stage. It looks very...
It's just very rough. And there's a lesson in here for everybody about how paintings are put in, because really we're just painting our highlights and our midtones and our shadows. I'm not really painting a mountain gorilla. I am painting the texture of fur. I'm not really painting fur.
And that's what I'm seeing. You know how our brains are designed to see the shape of each other's face, and right now we're recognizing the facial structures of our mountain gorilla friend here.
We are,
and we're those strong angular lines you've done just look great. I like them.
They're just and then we're going to come through and we're going to do some work. We're going to be at this for a little bit, but it's going to be if you liked our squirrel lesson. Or if you like the hummingbird, this is going to be your jam.
We're cruising right along here.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, it's going to be their jam if they liked either one of those. I'm going to get my Cambridges, my number 2 and my number 4. I expect to probably be using one of my fans at some point. just for some fur work, we'll have to see. And I may be using some of my cat's tongue, so I'll just pull those out. And you know I'm going to have a number 2 Ruby Satin because otherwise I'm a hot mess. So I want to come work this little space right in here quite diligently. I may have to put on my vision enhancers. Apply vision enhancers now. Boop. And I'm going to start working little bits of this gray. So I'm going to mix a little of my brown into my black. And I'm going to start getting, let's go into the nostrils a bit. Definitely, that's a nice dark value. This sort of curves. I'm going to try to make sure I got that curve. Pull a little bit extra out there. A little bit extra. And now we know that there's also this dark sort of shadow that informs the crinkle of the nostrils through here. I can even get into my blue, deepen that. Working that out. Pull this out right here. I am adding this pigment so that later as I'm coming through and lightening, it's dark enough for me to build up on. Now there's also a little bit of a pull in here, a dark value there. A little bit here. Here we go. We got our zincs. And our whites. And we're just going to create some different little value scales right along here. And there's going to be this here. And it's just going to be like, how can I build this out as I'm going? Putting a mid-tone right here. This is going to come down, as is this. There's a lot of musculature that I'm seeing here along the lip. I'm going to get a little more white onto this. And I'm going to talk about this little lip a bit more. Oh, I love this lip. What is going on, you cutie patootie? So I understand you'll kind of rips off my face, but you're so sweet. I just don't believe you ever would. Probably would though. Don't just pet wild animals. But just you can see there's a lot in this face that's emotive, isn't there? Get some impression and a little bit of my black. There's just a lot that talks about emotion. I'm seeing a nice sort of little musculature tendon situation here. So I'm going to shade this out. I'm very, very kind of thrilled to be doing this because I've been wanting to do a gorilla for a while. And again, never painted a gorilla in my life. Coming under the lip, creating the shadow. More shadow. Come down. Very smilish right now. I'm going to get a slightly brighter highlight. And again, I'm still on my number 2 Cambridge, and I'm just very lightly going back and forth, just working that. And then this right here, back and forth, up. Back and forth, lightening that up. I think I may have to have you move my palette over, John.
That's okay.
We're going to do this. John's going to reset my palette. I have it set for watercolor.
Actually, it should be too easy, too difficult.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, I'll just get you. You just keep going, and I'll come get you.
All right. So I'm going to add a little highlight right here. But I'm going to break it. And yeah, well, because I want some of these little wrinkles to maybe show through here. I don't want to take all the little yummy wrinkles out. Did I? Oh, it's more believable that I did. Better? I'm going to keep darkening underneath these eyes here. And bring this around. Softly continue to talk about under the lips. And I'm also going to kind of blend just the edge of this highlight that's going on right there. You know what we're doing? Do we have to fix the microphone? Oh. I'm like, I'm here for you, whatever you need, babe. I'm going to get right into my zinc. The reason zinc can be so fantastic is that it doesn't change the hue of the paint. That's the color. It just mildly changes the value, so you can do lots and lots and lots of little...
I'll come over there and fix that in just a second. Next time.
Micro minutes. Shadowing this here. And it's going to be just about coming in and being like, oh, it's just a little bit here and a little bit there, and I'm going to shadow you here and shadow you there. And yes, I talk baby talk to all my cutest paintings. That's like a thing that happens. But already we've got more of her beautiful little work right here.
Sorry, guys. I had to keep the camera in order to do it.
Sorry. Josh is sorry. I don't know why. He's just working really hard, but he says sorry for it.
Sorry. I had to give you guys a little nausea cam because I had to see what.
Oh, they're fine.
I had to look at it while I was fixing
They
it.
know.
So
they know. They know our art comes. You know.
You've been here a minute.
They've been here.
You know.
If you haven't been here, you're like, what are we doing?
This is live, and there's
This
the
is
two of
live.
us and a
the whole
Twix.
Yeah,
So if it goes wrong, I fix it while we're live.
we do. Now I'm going to lighten this up through here, so I'll come right into my wonderful, wonderful white, and maybe a little bit of my skin, and I'm going to just talk about the fur here.
I forgot to. I want to wish to all the Canadians happy
We
Cinnamon Day.
Happy Cinnamon Day, because we did Happy Canada Day for them, like a whole thing. Because I'm an honorary Canadian because of my birthday.
Well, I think that all Canadians celebrate Happy Cinnamon Day.
Yes, they do. They're big fans.
They're big fans.
Big fans.
We've just
They
subjugated
time
entire
traveled
countries.
and started Canada right there at my birthday. So considerate. So considerate. I'm back with my nice little black, and I'm going to just very softly blend this space right here, because her face would be coming in perspective. Now, while she's resting and already starting to build more of a little nose, isn't that crazy? I love this. I love this. We're going to come here and just come right with some black and really darken this down here. That's what we're going to do, right up to the little hand. And definitely, definitely under here. And then the bottom of this arm. I may actually even... Is it okay with you if I switch this to the top, babe?
Yeah. RoboCam can move.
RoboCam can move it. It can groove it. I almost did her over gold gesso.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm going to do another one over gold gesso to show you what that would be like. But I don't know. I'm like, there's this baboon I'm really wanting to paint. And there's some different animals that I'm really wanting to paint. And some of them would look really amazing over gold, like a lion. But I've done lions. And I feel like I have to go back and redeem the fox. So again, this shadow deepening here. So let's get a little of our Prussian and a little of our black. Go ahead and as dark as you can be. That's how dark you should be with me. Pick that up the little jaw right there. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Go. Ooh, 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 ooh. That's... I've learned. I watch a lot of animal shows. And so some of you know that I was a big fan of Frank Herbert. What I have not revealed is that I read everything that Edgar Rice Burroughs ever wrote as well.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Everything. I don't even know John knows that. Like, everything. He didn't notice that, like, when John Carpenter Mars came out, that I was, like, out the front door with my jacket on going, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. He's like, it's like a movie, but let's go. I'm like, no, John Carpenter, go. Anyways, so I read every single Tarzan book. I've watched every time they've tried to make that movie and ruin it. And they have made that movie and ruined it. I would say that Wakanda is a better representation of what should be going on in most Tarzan movies than actually happened in Tarzan. Just saying.
That's funny.
I'm going to just continue to, find these spaces, and you darken these spaces, and you talk about these spaces along the little faces. Now notice this little brushing back and forth. So in acrylic painting, we can blend by, wet into wet, but we can also blend by glazing and dry brushing.
Oh, yeah.
And so, realize that these are tools in your disposal, and you can use them. Like this here. Maybe a little more pigment than I wanted, but I really needed to soften this area a great deal for later. And guys, I'm just going to go with this until I'm happy because it's my birthday. If you follow along with me, it's going to be the greatest gorilla painting of your life. I'm getting a little more black. If you follow along with me. You may not want to do it live, but if you've been wanting to paint a gorilla, you really do want to do it because I'm going to get you there. Mostly because today I'm going to get myself there. Loving you. You may every once in a while hear me go, because I love me some wild animals. I also make whale noises at whales. They so far aren't mad at me. I haven't tried to do it under the water, though, on a speaker system. I have no idea what would go over there and be like, whales be like, did you hear what she just said?
You talking smack to me, human? I tell you what, dolphins will punk somebody right off their surfboard.
Yeah, that's why you don't hear surfers going, oh, dolphins. Surfers are like, dolphins! Surfers are like this. Surfers are like, oh, dude, shark. It's cool. Don't look like a seal. And then they'll see dolphins, and you'll see like all the surfers be like, dolphins! Whale in, whale in. Just saying.
Yeah, no, I watched a bunch of footage of surfers just getting. Well, you just saw these dolphins, and they were just completely having a good time. They were just like, yeah, I'm gonna go knock you off your surfboard now. It's just like
the dolphin that pushed that guy to Catalina. It's just like there was the shore right there, but the dolphin said no. Let's go to Catalina because I told my friends I could.
I'll call all my buddies. They'll enjoy the trip.
That's exactly what happened to that poor dude.
I like dolphins.
I'm just saying. So now I'm going to come with this lighter color. I've added a bunch of white, and I'm going to be doing this sort of soft, little thoughtful dry brushing right here, kind of through here. I don't want to lose my here. I just got to keep going and trying to make sure that we are. Whoa, that got a little away from me. It went over the brown. The good news is that's a light area that I want this dark area to still be there, so I'm going to just sort of pull this back. If I lose any of my dark, I can just come back pretty easily like that, see? See? Bugsy Siegel says, see?
Does
Bugsy Siegel does say see.
Oh.
Okay, really seriously, guys, the cat is sitting out way too early. And that's simply, I'm going to miss it, but that's because we're going to be using it in the flowers.
I wonkied the camera.
Did you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh my gosh, what did I do? Sorry, guys.
Oh, you're fine. I wonkied it.
I just added a little yellow to there. And we're going to just come kind of through here, and we're going to just make sure that this is a little more defined. See how we're doing? And now I'm kind of like talking a little bit about the direction of things, and then the power of this brush is revealed. The power of the brush compels you to paint more things. You can't trust those tricky brushes because they'll be like, hey, would you like to paint something that you might enjoy? Hey. Okay, she's already cute, isn't she?
Yeah.
I predict now that this little one on Instagram is going to get like a zillion bazillion likes when she's all done.
I think so too.
And she's going to result in some amazing paintings. There's a
Now,
fox and some flowers.
The brush you called Goldilocks.
Yes.
What is that?
So Goldilocks is the number 10 bright from my ArtSherpa line. Basically, there's a long story. A Reps brush was abandoned at my house by my mother. Don't let her tell you any different. It was abandoned, and possession is 9/10 of the law. I didn't know it, and I was painting, and I pulled it out, and I was like, "Oh, this is great!" And I was so excited about it. Didn't know what it was. You guys found out who made it. We found it, and honestly, frankly, you guys sold it out across the country. And then stuff started happening with the company. They were going through a sale. They were changing ownership. Nobody would even. I didn't even ask any money from these people or sponsorship or anything. I just needed to know where the brushes were and when they were going to be in. The brush guys were fighting for you. Everybody was fighting for you. And they wouldn't, they just didn't care. So I was like, oh, that's just not going to work. And so when Silver Brush came to me, and I already had painted with all of their brushes in my own private fine art practice, I explained my experience with Goldilocks, and they were like, oh, we got you. We can make you one that is always in stock and is everywhere it's supposed to be. And I was like, that's awesome. So this is the very fine art version of that. And it's like Goldilocks went through a bionic transformation. So let's just say it's a bionic Goldie. Because now she's indestructible.
Yes.
That's Goldilocks. It is not in anyone else's brush line, and it is not a accurate brush terminology. I'm getting a slightly darker gray, and I'm going to kind of come on the shoulder, but I still want a little bit of that fur, maybe crease there, and I'm going to be bringing this around right here. Take that off. And then come right here and be like, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. See that wigglies? Wiggles. If you guys are trying to work on any of these techniques and you're maybe at the 1 hoot level, but you're like, I'm so ready for 3 hoot projects, definitely catch up with us on the Technique Tuesdays over on Facebook, because we cover a lot of this technique and process again, so you guys can do a fast catch up.
Now,
yes,
I'm sorry here. I was just catching up on some of the
I'm adding a little burnt sienna to this because I feel like it. I want to warm it up. You were catching up on.
Yeah, are you using a dry brushing there?
I am using a dry brushing scumbling technique. It's a little wet into wet, which is why some of it's soft blending. And I'm just building up layers of values to help me create her.
Now it's worth noting that the brush that you've grabbed is going to be better for blending because it's got those natural fibers in it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to lend itself to that.
I think I'm going to move this a little bit right here. Looking at this,
Yeah.
I have to move her brow. Bear with me, guys. Again, haven't painted a gorilla before.
Now everyone is loving your necklace, by the way.
Oh, well,
They would
I
like
have
to
to
know-
shout
What, you-
out our studio special guest today,
Whoa.
which is my mother-in-law, mother I love, Linda. If you're wondering where my Betsy Johnson comes from, this is Betsy Johnson. If you're wondering where it comes from her. Because this woman has, she's unlocked the, is it Marshall's? Who is it? You're not, she doesn't want to tell you.
She has secret places that she
She'd
goes.
like to keep, but she has some secret. They would, yeah. So she won't tell you, but it is a national chain sale store that she gets it.
Now I was just oohing because like when you did that, man, that brow just went.
Yeah.
And just like totally folded into space. It was like. I know that I kind of liked the blockiness, but that just totally turned that brow into a little like I'm thinking about something over here.
Yeah, I just realized I just want to move the positioning of this a bit. And so sometimes you've got to move the positioning a bit. You got to move the positioning a bit. So that it's okay. I'll work with that in a minute. Because I've got an arm to do. I'm still thinking about this face space. Think about your face. Well, nope, because the blue and the black came together and it took over, and now it's making me come right here, and I'm just trying to make sure to making me do it, guys. I can't. Nothing I can do. I'm gonna come right here, babe.
Okay.
So everything about this is going to be just trying to get the aspect ratio. I'm so glad I drew her as well as I did, because I was like, today it's going to be interesting getting her in. When you paint a particular subject, like, so say you paint your mountain gorillas like all the time, you will get a natural sense of certain lines and things. And when you're new to a project, like I am new to them, you'll be making little micro adjustments as you go. And that's just because you're developing the familiarity through the piece. It's not already, you know, pre-existing. If that makes any kind of sense. I'm going to go ahead and just go like this, which starts to talk about the fur. Because we really, really, really have to work out the shape on her hand that's holding the flowers. Which is why we don't have to worry about too much right here. I have to worry about what's here, and I have to worry about like some of this. But because there's a big flower blocking it, there's some places that I don't have to put that much detail into. If you get my drift. I'm going to add some umber to that and continue to. Now what's interesting about this is it's almost like a spiral. I may even start talking about that right there. And then there is a bit of a light spot right here. I'm going to go and soften this. I'll come back and do some fine hair work. But if I put this softness in now, it's going to create that blending, that atmospheric perspective that's going to really help me get her laid in. That. She coming together yet?
Oh yeah, really, really nicely. Now they were curious, what made you made that decision on the brow?
I realized that I placed it too high, and I needed to lower it. That I had it just placed way too high above where I wanted to be, and I would, if anything, raise up the shadow under the eyes, but I needed to lower that. And sometimes I'm going to get my number 2 here, and my brown. Sometimes you'll be working and you'll be like, oh, hey, I see something here. And you won't see it initially, but as you're working the subject, it's like your brain will start talking to you. When you're new, it just tells you that you're very anxiously doing things wrong and you should panic. It gives you that terrible set of information, which many of you are familiar with, like, because your right brain doesn't know how to talk to you yet. It doesn't know how to have a civilized conversation about creativity, and it's used to being bullied by the left brain. So it's going to go, it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong, and the whole world is falling down. And you feel the sense of anxiety. What eventually happens is it learns to talk to you in a more civilized way, and it starts saying, you know, darling, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, I love what you're doing. It's great, keep being you, but you might want to move the brow. It's a little bit high, but no judgment. It'll start, but initially it comes in like screaming with sirens, and I feel really bad because I remember being new and I remember those panicked messages.
Yeah.
But just know that they soften over time.
Oh, that's good.
And eventually it gets real polite like your best friend. Unless you have a rude best friend, which is, I'm not judging. But you can see that created a more gorilla-ish little space for everything, right? There we go. I'm going to rinse out. And I think I'm going to go ahead and grab my glazing, babe.
Okay.
I think it's over here. So the reason I have glazing, this is Golden's Gloss Glazing Liquid. I don't get paid for saying this out loud at this time or at any time planned in the future. It's just my favorite product for this process and for my acrylic product. It just is. And the reason that it is because it lets me glaze and it lets me slow down the drying time of paint if I need to blend. And those can be challenging things to be getting done. And so if you're trying to do that, it really, really helps. Now I'm going to take my little brush here and I'm going to just take that too light and let it get a little burnt sienna and some black. And a little zinc maybe. I'm going to just start talking about these little furs coming down. Just dash, 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 dash. Because here's the deal. This is sort of showing. There we go. Just again. I'm using just the edge of the brush and I'm just trying to talk about the fur texture. That's right here. Because this actually is what informs where the arm, crazily enough. Now I can come right here, very softly, talk about a few hairs. You don't want to talk about too many of them, though. Don't get all chatty about the hairs. Don't do it. But you can put a few right here that are in this part, and then you can come in. I'd say just a few in the light right here. Just softly, softly, softly painting those little hairs. See how that's going? Yep, yeah. So you just get that under shadow, but still there kind of look. I'm going to go ahead and get in my glaze. I like to work my glaze through the brush. And I'm going to get a lot of my white. And this particular knuckle right here, I'm going to start to talk about in a more defined way. This one was more defined. This one had a bit of one. That didn't. Back to my vision enhancers. Don't leave your vision enhancers behind.
No.
No. Now I'm going to get some black, and I'll probably have to put out some more black real soon. Black and some blue, and I'm going to make sure that I'm coming up along here. And I'm going to softly soften this edge right here where there's going to be like maybe some hair or some stuff. And it's also okay to come back in here. I'm going to get a little of that black on my brush and come back into this fur too. See? And add some black tipping to it where you need it. So know that you can go back and forth. I'm going to just scumble through here, softening that. Just softening all this. And now I'm going to get my number 2 that I told you about earlier, Ruby Satin. So first, let's get a little of our black and brown together. And very carefully, I'm going to try to talk about this forward finger in a more detailed way. Head up. And I'm going to bring that right there. Because they have very, very tapered little fingers. I'm going to add a little zinc to my brush. I'm going to come here and just talk a little bit about where that is on the tip.
Now, do you have a preference on why you like the gloss over the satin?
Yeah, I believe I haven't done any testing on this. This is just anecdotally from using. I feel like a little brown and maybe a little Indian yellow into this next mix over here with my black. So what I feel like is happening is I have less drag.
Gotcha. You feel like it gives you a silkier,
I
smoother
do, but I
delivery.
have no proof.
It's anecdotal Sherpa-ness.
It's anecdotal. I'll tell you the difference between this is an opinion that I have, but I haven't really looked into it into a bigger way, versus, dude, I looked into this. Can you see how I added the Indian yellow and the brown here to the back of this?
We have not conducted experiments.
Yeah, and you have to in your studio really look at things sometimes. You have to do a bunch of research.
We experiment on the Sherpa, but we've not conducted experiments.
I'm bringing this light color down. The reason I'm picking the Ruby Satin is it gives me a very sharp line, and the Cambridge gives me a very soft line. And by working those two things together, I just lightened the front of that. So this is like my lighter, and there's a mid-tone, and then I'm going to be working up into here. And I might take this back into the hand, and then I'll come work some hairs or something right there. Now I'm going to add another layer. So I've got my kind of off-white right there. I'm going to add a little more white to it. I'm going to come on the front. A little bit at that nail. I just wiped off an excess amount of water. Sometimes that'll happen. You get too much water. And I'm just trying to talk about that wrinkly, wonderful little finger, right? A wrinkly, wonderful little finger. Come right here and bring that back. Getting a little more of this in. So that is your Indian yellow over here and your black. And you can do a little bit of your burnt umber into it to get that kind of skin tone that she has. I'm going to start working the front of that knuckle. These little elements, they're going to be a big deal. I've just added some water and I'm working it through so that I can improve the flow of my product onto my brush. The light color needs to be here. It's got to be darker going forward. So since I mixed too light of a color, I'm going to go ahead and just take advantage of maybe bringing it back over the knuckles, across, and then into this space a little bit. And then I can even blend that forward just a smidge right there. See how I'm doing?
I do. I see it with my camera eyes.
A little bit right here. And we're going to just take that right there. Okay, so actually this goes back further. So I have to move up this line right here. Wonderfully, I get to do it with a dark color. That's how tight that line should actually be. I'm taking the dark and helping shade underneath her hands. We're shading under her hands. And again, I'm seeing it's in shadow, but I'm catching it, so I'm going to go ahead and get her in. Just with this at first. You're going to see me pull this out. And here. And we're going to keep that real, guys. And keep this real. Because it's important that we catch our light and shadows where they are. Otherwise, she won't look like herself. And I'm going to be in the battle to make sure she looks like herself. Okay. So coming here to the tip of this, you want to imply there's a little bit of a opposable little finger, huh? A thumb. Thumb-like. Wait, what? Yep. Put out a little more black. See, now we're in the fussy bits. And this is, oh wait, I put out brown. Read your tubes more correctly and put out a little more black. I'm going to go ahead and just get some black here. I'm going to work these little spaces. Curve that in. We'll get that all shaped out as we want to. Now that I've got that sort of corrected, I'm going to take my Indian yellow into my black. Maybe even a little of my burnt umber. And I'm going to make sure space coming back here is also kind of coming down the hand like this. Then we'll make sure we put a little highlight right there. Put another little one right there. There we go. There she is. Sometimes because they're familiar to us in the sense that they're hand-like, you'll have these little weird moments where it'll get away from you. And that's going to be all about you being able to say, oh no, wait. I'm going to just give that little hair and make sure I'm giving that a little sort of hairish texture. Rethink this right here. So this is why a lot of times I'm like, one of the reasons that traceables don't cheat you out of anything in your painting, because as you're painting, you're going to lose the traceable, right? The traceable almost just gives you the confidence to hop in and start. I'm going to get a little more of this. Are we starting to get a gorilla now?
I think so.
Sorry I kidnapped you for my birthday, babe.
Look, what else would I would like to do with you?
I don't know. We already did the movie, though.
We did the movie, yeah, that's true. We saw Incredibles 2.
My mother-in-law brought cake.
It was incredible, as you would think.
My mother-in-law brought cake. Cakes.
Cakes.
She came over and brought cakes. I'm just trying to capture what I've got to the shapes of these as they're coming forward. Let's work up a more defined little line here. Another fun thing is I'm going to make a darker color. It's not going to be completely black, but it is definitely going to be one of our darker colors. I'll add my Indian yellow into it so it looks like it goes in there. Let's go ahead and some little wrinkles, right?
Now it's rumored the cake is a lie.
This cake is not a lie. This cake is buttercream. I don't get a lot of it. That you get cake for your birthday is a lie. That's true. But I'll get some of it.
Now I want to go do some aperture science.
We do what we must. because we can. For the good of all of us, except the ones who are gone. I'm not going to say that word because family friendly show. But there's no use crying over every mistake.
Have to remember the.
They're like, this is the song she knows? Yeah!
All the words.
All the words. Karaoke this, and it's the best day ever.
We had some really weird songs on our rock band.
We did.
We had all the SpongeBob songs.
We came with what was important.
We had all the Eidos songs.
We did. What was going on with us?
I don't know.
Look, we love what we love.
It's true.
Right now, we're just trying to say, hey, here's this space, and we're trying to get her wonderfulness into some decent perspective. And you can see me softening. I would say, in some sense, a subject like, oh, this is nice. I'm going to glaze this right here. Back a little bit. Let me get some glaze. Some glaze. Glazing. Okay, I'm going to back up. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm getting there. She's not a perfect, but that was never her goal. She wasn't looking for perfection. Now, I'm going to get a little bit of my black hair and a little of my blue in here. And I'm going to make sure that right here, I pull this out, if you can see kind of like that hair space. Glazy. Fur. I'd say for me, this would be the most challenging area. Is catching this space. Her face is going to come in really well, but keeping her hand, keeping her hand, girl, like, super challenging, but worth it. I'm pretty happy with it. Pretty happy. Pretty happy. You guys happy?
I'm happy.
If you're happy, I'm happy.
I'm digging it. And this is cruising right along.
No way.
We're like an hour and 12 minutes in this.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You actually called it, didn't you?
Yeah. This is cruising right along.
I'm going to push this out right here into some little fur little bits that are.
Now, I know that,
right
it's not the same.
It's not the same as what?
We have a lot of folks that are requesting dinosaur paintings.
Okay. So, guys, I'm doing some research on this. Interesting challenges with dinosaur paintings.
Well, they're not dragons, and we do dragons.
It's not that. It's IP. Think about how we have dinosaur references.
Oh, that's true. Oh, my gosh. Because it's all based on artistic rendering.
They're all based on artistic renderings, which some other artist sat down with some poor scientist, poor artist, poor scientist, poor everybody involved, to figure out how to render this dinosaur in a way that's accurate. Now, I am taking those and putting those together, and I'm looking within my... I have a bunch of resources that I license from, and I'm looking at those to see if they're there.
I got a solution for you.
There's a great... What?
I think I got a solution.
Okay.
We'll talk after the show.
Okay. But there's this really great raptor, but it's scary, and I know y'all are going to paint this for your kids. And then there's some pretty one-hoot Brontosaurus sunset silhouette that I'm kind of liking, but I don't know that your kids are going to be raptors. So there's some challenge, but John has a solution. I work on that. So whenever we do a poll... it's like the Golden Goddess. We did a poll about more diversity. You cannot believe what's coming. It may be 2 months after a poll. But what happens is I see the poll, I get a direction, and then I go crazy doing studies. When I'm saying I do 4 paintings a day, that's not an exaggeration. Because if you can't, it's not an exaggeration. Everyone's like, do you sleep? No, do you? I don't. You get sleep? I don't get any of that. There's no sleep for artists.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to darken this little space right there. I love this wrinkle part. I think that's the best part of every time. Wrinkle, 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 wrinkle. Wrinkle, 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 wrinkle. I'm going to take that a little bit up to that little corner space. And I might even kind of exaggerate that little corner a little bit. So working a little here at a time in here and just maybe glaze that back a little bit. I'm going to get some glaze. It's like I want it there, but not quite as much as it is there. I'm going to go ahead and start talking about maybe the highlight that's right there. And then there's a little bit right here and a little bit right there, right?
Yeah.
Just softly dry brushing that in. Help that become a thing. Ears. Who has the ears? Love your little ears. Yes, I love you. You gotta love your paintings. Love your art. They need it. Your art and your kids need your love. Actually, everybody needs your love. Let's just go with that. Everybody needs love.
Everybody does.
Everybody. Even the ones that are really, really, really challenging to love need love.
Those are the ones who need love the most.
Maybe. I keep trying to think that about like the Dexters. I'm not really sure. That might be some physiology, and I might be making assumptions there.
I think
but in general,
I think the only way we're going to solve any of these problems is if we start from love.
Loving.
Yeah.
Loving.
If we don't start from there, we're not going to end in a good place.
We just really can't. Even when it's super hard. Can you see I'm just sort of muting this back? Creating little half shades and working out these little tones. Pretty happy here. All right here. Need some stuffs.
Some stuffs.
Does need some stuffs. I'm gonna get another scumbly little brush. I think I'm gonna get a 4 or I think I'll go ahead and get a 6. Just to be you can do a 4 too, guys. I can do a 4. 4s or 6 are fine. 4, 6, any of that. So we need to do some light little hairs coming forward, and so I'm gonna get a little of my Indian yellow and I'm gonna put out some more Indian yellow. No cows were fed mangoes in the making of this Indian yellow.
No.
And frankly, probably no cows were ever fed mangoes, so.
It may have just been a urban myth.
Or just
shade.
Myth. It's just shade.
Propaganda.
Propaganda and shade.
It's like trade wars propaganda.
It was, man. Might have been. All right, so I'm gonna just come here and just gonna start talking about this little furs. The furs right there. Little. How we're doing, and they're kind of warmer furs. So that's how we're warming up those little hairs. And I might get a little more of, I guess I'll get some zinc into that. I can have a little more black, but I just want it to be somewhat light. There we go. And I'm just making these little, here you come. What's funny?
JC just said, how can cows eat mangoes?
Well, that's exactly what Victoria Finlay said. And then some guy tried to force feed a bunch of cows mangoes, showing the cows like, nope.
I don't like mangoes, human.
It was mango leaves, but it was like, nope, I don't. And they were like cramming down the poor cow's throat, and then they were like, the cow's like, I'm never going to eat enough of these to make yellow pea, and now I'm just mad at you. And I think I'm too important to shove mango leaves in my face.
So this all stems from a story that this particular yellow came from urine that was from cows and buffalo that were fed mango leaves, and it turns out not true. At least not that we can confirm. And there's a lot of funny stuff that comes up around this. So we're laughing about, and Victoria Finlay was the author who published some findings around this, and she's a well discovered and publicized pigment. What would you call her?
She is the premier pigment author. She writes really amazing stories about color.
Yeah.
And where it comes from. And it's fantastic. Love her.
I feel like I just totally radio hosted out there for a minute.
I know we did. Telling everybody our secrets.
I'll be Miss Hermione for a moment and give
everyone. Yeah, I get a little Hermione Granger about the art. Do I have yellow ochre in my color list? Ignore it if I do. But I'm putting it out, so it'll be in my color list by the end of the show. It's gonna be there by the end.
Which question? What color?
I put out some yellow ochre.
Yellow ochre. Let me look. I'll make sure.
Yeah, just in case the Indian yellow gets to be too much for my color.
Yeah.
Just trying to work these things out, man.
I can add that.
So I'm just sort of making some darker little marks here. See, I'm just making little marks, little fur-like marks. Now, as I'm coming around here, we've got to get darker. Get a little of our yellow ochre into that. That's why I grabbed it. Is I wanted something that would impact what we had, but not. Rinse out. Let me get my brush in and my black, and I am pulling it like this around here. See how we're done?
Yeah.
And I'll sort of blend these into each other. It's okay if this gets back into our light area because we're going to have to be blending these two. I may even come to the center of this localic and add a little bit of extra shadowing for it, so later when I get it all the way in. Super awesome.
Super awesome.
Super awesome, man! Back into the worm. Coming up over here. The reason we're switching this out between the yellow and the blue is I'm implying that some stuff is more in the sunlight by using these warm colors.
Everyone thought you went silent there for a moment. It was like, no, you were just quietly focused.
I know. I'm actually painting this. It took me a long time. It is harder to talk and teach than you think. Talk, paint, and teach. Just wow. Is it a challenge? It took me a long time to learn how to hold my painting together. That's a lighter value that I'm mixing there and adding to the curve of the arm. I'm trying to talk about how the light has caught this part of the fur, even though it's black. It's so weird that we do it that way. But as I'm painting, I'm actually thinking I'm going to get some phthalo blue this time. You think very deeply. You're concentrating. You're going, how is it that I'm going to paint this? And when you see a lot of the demo artists, one of the things, the reason that they're not togging is because it takes them out of the space of doing mentally. And so that's why they're not. And it's about, having to keep that, teaching things. I'm just wiggling back and forth, and I'm just trying to add the directionality to everything. Let's get right into this Indian yellow and get right into my black and white. White. And then we're going to just very softly, and this is again still the number 6, and I'm curving the stroke, and I'm letting the flagging and the shape of the brush create a lot of this. And I need to go even one shade lighter. Look at me go. There we go. That's what it is. Coming around. And I want to take this into that dark area that I have. I want it to show that it's there. There we go. just trying to talk about her little marking here. It's entirely possible, by the way, if you're a nature conservative, that this can't be a female for some reason that I don't know.
Right.
So
there's every possibility that we just
picked a male mountain gorilla that looked like Koko to me. And the reason that this particular photograph, this conservation photograph that I licensed looked like Koko, was the gentleness and the focus and the shape around the face. Gorillas do not look alike to me. And so it was very hard to find one with the roundness of her face and also with the type of expression that she has. She had a very particular way of looking at things that if you've looked at 1,000 gazillion press photos of her, will suddenly occur to you. And occurred to me. So that's what happened. John has been in the room with me talking about Koko for a bit now.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to find this. And then I was trying to decide where we're going to do it. And then I thought, well, it's my birthday. And on my birthday, I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. Now I'm going to take this very, very light color, come along here, and just dry brush over this right here. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Not that I'm going to have to use my fan in this at all. Good, though. That's what we're doing. How's she looking? Oh, she's looking so nice. Isn't she?
Oh, yeah.
You get another light color, light gray. Very light gray. Work that through this patch here. And also, I think I want to work some of this, not a lot of it, up right here. And here I got it. She's got a little party. Little party girl. Or boy. Guys, I'm wrong.
What's that?
What?
Oh, I thought I misheard.
Oh.
I thought you said something's wrong. I was like, what's
no,
wrong?
I'm just trying to make sure I've got a highlight working along here, that this fur patch is quite light, and that, I've got a nice little highlight right here. And we can take some of this very lightly, but you don't want to be too heavy with it because you're trying to show that this is in shadow. Shadow. Furry! I hope someone else is having fun.
Everybody's having fun. This is fantastic.
I am going to get a little of my burnt umber and my phthalo bloom, go to the top of the head and work up there for a while now.
All right. Oh.
Just talking a little bit about this. Now, this will be a little more challenging because browns are intrinsically very transparent and can create a lot of problems. I'm pushing out the edge of the brush. Can you see I'm pushing that out? Go push and pull.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try to talk about the directionality of not only the shape of the skull, but the direction of the fur growing up her skull. I've got my nice little glowing effect underneath because of my cat orange and my burnt umber. And I'm going to just be working these things. Work. Do you work? And let's take this up to a bit of a point, shall we? Shall we take that up to a point? Is the cake hostage? Is that what's happening?
No, they were just permission for. They were getting crack permission. They were.
Oh, this is sweet. I expected a complete mutiny over cake.
Oh, well, you're being pretty cool. There's a cake stockpile that they're they're ready for it.
I'm just working all this right here. just keep working this and building this up. But you can see that we're building up that sense of everything that's up there. Now I'm going to go ahead and get a little of my black and my phthalo blue. And you can even get a little zinc into it to help it show. Really want it to be black. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to just tip this edge right here.
Little kids. You
So
scurry pretty
cute.
quietly now.
So cute.
They think your earrings are amazing, by the way.
Oh, well, I do too. And I was very happy. This is a good birthday gift.
Mm-hmm.
Very good birthday gift that I got. And I'm super happy to have. I'm just very lightly making sure that there's this sense of furs. The stableness of it all. This is the color. And I feel like there's a youth about her because of the color of her fur and its shine. It could also be just that she was hand fed a lot of avocados or something. Just feeling very healthy. Just be very healthy girl. Looks pretty good, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Maybe add a little bit of this right here. We know we gotta. Just a little bit of that. All right. Now I'm gonna get a little of my phthalo and a little of my black and some of my zinc, and I'm gonna see if this works. This is how I normally do this. I'm going to talk about a little bit of the shine, but I'm going to do it through the blue and the zinc that's in there. I'm just, you can see, just working that brush.
You're using your brush much farther back now.
Yeah, I'm trying to take her all in so that I can see her better. So as I'm painting her, I'm doing a better job. Do a good job, man. What I'm trying to do. Better job. Little burnt umber, little cad. And just working the little spots up here that this hair is maybe, you know, peeking out from. Like it will want to. You can see I'm just wiggling the brush back and forth. There's a little bit of hair there, and maybe a little bit popping hair. How is she looking? I hope some of you guys will definitely go for this with me. Break this up into, you know, a few painting sessions and
I really enjoy it.
give her a go. See what it's like. Paint's such a beautiful creature. Because subjects like this are always intrinsically quite fun to do.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to work this space. I'm going to go ahead and maybe get a little of this all worked in there, which is the burnt sienna, the burnt umber, the cad orange, and the yellow ochre. Go ahead and hit that with some black. Put out a little more titanium white. Where are you, titanium white? Let's start getting that little space of fur. Just on the tip of my brush, you can see I'm just pulling it out. Get some titanium white and paint her. She's super, super pretty. You know she's pretty. Or he's pretty. Somebody's pretty. It's
Somebody
Koko, so
is.
she's pretty.
I think so.
Pretty, 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 pretty girl. So ability to see beauty in other living things. An important thing. I think art teaches that. To recognize how incredible and gorgeous something wild and natural can be. Sometimes helps us connect to it on a deeper, deeper level. This little color over here. It wouldn't be in much other places. This is sort of this little spot. Interesting little spot that we've got. I'm going to sip my coffee. Actually, spider!
I'll go find it.
I'll say hi to everybody and take her in for a minute and decide where I'm going next. So probably I'm going to work down this side through here, finish this out, get the face, hit the flower, and then we will have done her. She's kind of a special little thing.
Actually, really close, huh?
Proud of her.
Yeah.
I'm glad I painted her today.
Me too.
You know, sometimes you don't take on these projects because they're big, because they're daunting. You know, like you're thinking about, I'm a new painter. This project is daunting for me. I still have to think about, I'm an online teacher, and people have an attention span, and how long that they can have endurance for painting can be a real challenge or barrier to them attempting a project. And I don't consider it a win for me unless you guys are doing them and succeeding at them. Like the squirrel for me was a super win because you guys could paint Frisbee and you guys could, you know, really succeed at that and you were really loving it. So for me, that's a win, not how many gazillion, bazillion views something gets. And so, not that I don't love that because I do, it helps grow the channel. Finds new artists. Does. Absolutely. Let's all wish for a gazillion, bazillion views. But the real goal in every lesson, whether it's the watercolors or this, is to make sure that you guys are successful with it at home. So hopefully some of you guys will jump in and then know that we share some of that in common, that it can be challenging to take on projects that seem overwhelming. My handsome man, thank you. Have to coffee up. You know how I am.
Get a little coffee in.
Get a little coffee and go with my spiky hair.
They were wanting to get a good look at that jewelry anyway. They think that's pretty sparkly, pretty fancy. Pretty nice.
Betsy Johnson, you can get this one now that I have this one. You're loved. I'm loving her hands. I am loving her fur. I think she's going to get this through here. And then once I get the face and that flower, and this is going to be one of my favorite pieces I did. And aren't you glad I didn't make her bigger?
Yeah.
Made me here forever. But she would make a spectacular 30 by 40 painting.
Oh, yeah.
Just just manage your expectations. Like, so if it's a 9 by 12 and you decide to convert her, to the next biggest, so it's like there's 11 by 14, 22 by 28, 44. Can someone add 24 be 36? 24 by 36?
That sounds right.
24 by 36. That's
Then there's a 36 by 40, 40 by 60.
by 72.
Yeah. 48 by 72. Yeah, that sounds right.
So all these relate. They're the same. Doesn't matter how big the canvas is, they're the same. The aspect ratio of how much green to how much is all the same. So you can always make bigger, bigger, bigger. Scale up. It gets hard if you pick a different aspect ratio on your canvas.
Oh,
and then you ask me a big math question.
That's
and then I'm like, I don't teach math.
There's aspect ratios.
Aspect ratios. I'm getting my brush a little bit wet to mix this through here. I'm going to get quite a lot of my white on there because right here, there's this little sort of gray white area that's a foot and is very light and kind of comes up here. And just scribbling this in, thinking about this. You've got to think about that. And I'm using the edge of my brush to soften that edge. I may switch to a smaller brush. For the brow, I'll go back down to my Seg 2. And I'm going to be just working different values of this warm sort of gray through here to try to talk about what's afoot. Now I may come in and get a little of my brown and orange to come here and talk about just a little bit of thoughtful little bright, she's like a redhead, isn't she? Bright little red hairs that she's got peeking right here. And then I can get a little of my black and burnt sienna. And just talk about that maybe a little bit, huh? Here we're trying to talk about how it all relates to each other. I can get some white onto that. Fun for me to do this. You have no idea. A little of the burnt umber in the black. We're going to go ahead and start talking about our little brow. Little zincs. And again, we're starting to lighten and blend and figure that all out. And that's what this is about, is that lightening and blending stage. Let's give a little, I think we need a little more black into it over here, but we're still just thinking about this. A little more black. Just say, that's a little. Those beautiful eyebrows. Give her beautiful eyebrows. Make sure they're pretty, 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 pretty. Now, around here, we're going to take a little of my Indian yellow, a little of my, not my Indian yellow, my yellow ochre, my burnt sienna, my black, and then some of the titanium white. And we're going to start just brushing some of this out. So colorful. So pretty. A little more black. It's going to be just about layering, layering, layering. Getting those values as we pull her into this little space that we know we're going to have. Just carrying down this very light value right here. We know we've got, I have to, I really go through a lot of titanium on these, so just, you know I am, you are, it's okay. over here, and then there can be some just sort of going down here, right? And it's okay to tip and blend some of these hairs, isn't it? Some of the hairs here could tip up, and we know I've got a little ear here, but that doesn't mean that she can't have a little personality coming through. Now I'm going to get a little of my black and blue. Put a little bit here and there. Yeah, dark hair. Maybe a little more black than that. Or little furtive strokes through here, just catching these little, there's like little guard hairs. I'm just trying to catch that feeling of that without changing the overall tone or value too much. Moving that down here. How's everybody doing? For those of you painting along, how are you hanging
Really
in?
good. No, everybody's really enjoying this. This is, I mean, and actually, I'll just say, CRC just said that this is the best animal tutorial ever on YouTube. Love it.
Oh my God. You are just giving me energy. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to come here and darken where this spur is going to layer into here and give this sort of some dimensionality through here. You want to give that dimensionality. And then we're going to get a little bit tipped onto, a little bit of the gray tipped onto our brush. And you can see what I mean by tipped. It's just on the flagged edges, right? So that we can also talk about these flagged hairs like we would want to. Down here, maybe some of them visit right here. And there could be just a few coming into the space. And then it's interesting, some will travel back like a little bit longer and be back there. Because the hair on her arms is getting longer. Now I'm going to work the color I have through my brush. And then I'm going to get a lot more white into it. Make sure that right here I have a little bit of a highlight going. You guys see that?
Yeah.
Let's get a little bit more. And another little highlight going. And this is like a cooler highlights. That's for the more black hair. What I expect is that these hairs are very deep and dark. And then as these animals are in the sunlight, they do what surfer hair does, which is they get quite light.
They bleach.
Surfers are like, wait, how did I get pulled into this? Well, y'all know. A bunch of brunettes that look like blondes.
You just stood in the sun for a while.
You just stood in the sun for a really long time. That's probably what she did, and that's how the different tonalities to her hair has come out. So I'm going to just make sure that I've got this, a couple little dark value spaces that are through here that are well thought out. Then I've got to give her little ears. That is definitely going to be my number 2, Ruby Satin. Blue and black, and I'm just going to work my value set. So there's a little bit of a curve that comes forward, and then one that comes back like this. And then they come around. So they're a little bit like ears we're familiar with, but it's sort of cool and different too. That's just something to think about. Be like, oh wow, like her ears are different. But like similar, but totally different. I'm going to say I'm going to pull a very strong little triangle shadow right there. And I'm going to make sure that the back of this lobe is shadowed. And now I'm going to get a little of my black and white and make a highlight gray. There's going to be like a little bit right there. You can have just a smidge right there. Let's see how that's looking on our little ear. Yes, now it has a gorilla ear. Where'd it come from? From her. She's magic. And I may come and just sort of using my brush. Notice this is a subtractive method of painting. It works in acrylic before the paint has bound to the canvas. All right. Are we nearly to the good stuff? Yeah, we are.
Are we?
Right, let's get another, the black and the blue. Actually, I have it listed and we're going to go into it. We're going to get out some fluid black and we've got fluid white for the last little bit. The reason we have fluid black is that, and this is lamp black and fluid, so that we can create some very crisp and deep spaces that play against the matte. I overplayed that. So I just got my brush clean and I'm going to just remove this. And I may even need to have more of a detail brush than I'm currently using. And if I get in there and I'm like, oh my goodness, I need even more of a detail brush, I'm going to get it. I'm going to definitely get it. And I'm going to put this right here where I know I'm going to be working some little eye space. And I'm going to put this right here. Some eye space. I don't need that much of it, but I'll be glad that it's there. A little bit of that there. And then a bit of this deeper into those lips. Now, to the blue, black, and gray of the face, and I think I'm going to use the phthalo blue and the black to create that range. And it's just going to be about paying attention to our reference. I may even go down. I might get into my number 2, guys, for some of this around the eyes. Where's my number 2? Oh, good. They all fell down.
Now, if you didn't,
this is a number 2, Filbert.
If you didn't have fluid, could you use heavy body still?
Yeah, you could just keep with your heavy body. If you don't have it, just keep with what you've got. So I'm going to be working this range of like colors. There's a little lid that's right here. And then there's just a smidge of something right there. I'm just going to be working just my grayscale around here. So I'm going to come under here. So at first you're going to see me making brush strokes that are in the direction of what she's got going on in her wrinkles. And I may even be taking out some of my previous work as I'm looking through building this. I'm going to be like, oh, what can we do this better? Can we? Yes, we can. Then we're going to do it better. So that's just how that works. And I'll come back. I'm going to get my black. I'm going to blend right under there. I'm going to blend right here, coming down. And if I need glazing medium, believe you me, I'm good at it. And what the glazing medium will do is let me do a blend over dry paint. And I need to. More black. You know me and eyes, we gonna work it. If we can work it, we're going to work it. So it's just this little triangle shape that pulls back. Just a little bit of this. You can include a little bit of this like little wrinkling that comes forward. And then as I go, I'm going to get a little more white on here. I'm going to tap at the top of this little lid, at the back of this little eye, and along some of these little wrinkles that she would have, that she's not ashamed of. She accepts it. Working that right here. Yep, too much water, too much paint. And when you get that, you just pull that off. Don't even sweat it. Because you can always come back with a little black, right? Pull this aside for a second. I'm going to grab my scumbly brush and even a little bit of glaze. I'm going to make sure that we're being very attentive, and I don't mind if I get a little of my to the values and everything that we would be seeing here as we're blending the face wrinkles in. That's what I'm going to do. If I don't elongate this down through here, this is going to change the gorilla's face shape so much that you may not like it. So that's just something to think about when you're painting. I'm back into my number 2. What I'm doing right now is just trying to talk about these little wrinkles that she's got happening right here, coming down around her mouth. I'm going to work over on the other side. Got to do that other eye, right? And I will be working these two heavily. And the reason being is that I've got to maximize all my value sets over here. So one cool thing we've got is another little highlight that creates the lid, creates that area, and that is going to be right here. And then interestingly enough, there is a tear duct that's right there. Get some glaze on there so it flows out. I'm going to put a little tear duct space there. We're going to just talk about some of the wrinkling, and maybe I'm going to shade a little bit right here happening over there. I'm going to get my lamp black. I'm not going to put, a lot. You don't really do a lot of huge work inside the eye. It's about outside the eye. So I'm going to put a little reflection here. And another, like, not fully white, but it's close to it. One right there. I think her face is sort of popping in now. So let's elongate this here. Fix our nose. They're going to get a nose job. First, I'm going to like make sure that I've got this maybe as far down as I would want it. I want to move her mouth down a little bit. I'm really proud of her. Okay, so sorry guys, you're just like kidnapped by me. Happy birthday to me. Let's paint a gorilla.
I like it.
All right, so I'm going to come through here. I'm using my ochre. And we're going to start warming up the fur, but we're also going to start elongating what we're seeing through here. See how we're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Pulling this down quite a lot. And then I'm going to come more into the black. Because here we should see it, we should know it. Make sure that's quite dark, but it should also be very elongated. And see how that fixes it? You pull her face long, and then she looks like herself again. This is a big lesson on portraiture right here. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
This is about where portraiture comes together and falls apart. Because if it's true for a gorilla, it's certainly true for your human subjects that the head shape, that the shadows under the eyes, that these things are relative. And like I as an artist have a tendency to round things. If you painted anything with me that's after celebrity, you'll notice that I tend to age them like 30 years and give them 15 pounds. I'll feed everybody first. But that's like, that's why when I'm like, yeah, I can paint people, but I'm not a portrait artist. That's why I say it. Because you guys will be like, you're amazing. You're totally a portrait artist. I'm like, nope. Because otherwise I wouldn't forensically like put them on a milk carton aged up.
Mm.
And it's, by the way, a struggle that I have when doing children is I will age them by 4 years.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. So I'm just pulling her little furs down, and I think I'm full on in love with her.
I am too.
A lot of artists would opt out at this point and say, good, we're done, let's put in a flower. But we're going to go a little bit further, guys, because I think it's worth it. I'm going to make sure if I am really, really highlighting this right here. Maybe another one right there. I'm pulling this down a bit so that she is. That's just the yellow ochre and the making sure that this is pretty. This is pretty.
Yes.
And I'm not willing to take that from her. She ate all her leafy green. She earned her booties. Okay, so nose, I will start with this, and I'm going to kind of come back. I might put some more of my black out, and I've got some more blue out, I've got some white out, so I'm going to just try to work the rest of this nose. Sometimes I'll come back with a glaze, and I'm going to do that here just to sort of shade things out. And the other thing I'm going to definitely let happen is I'm going to talk about a very soft pursing of the lips through this glaze. Can you guys see how I'm doing that?
Yeah.
Now, even if I go get some white into my gray and I get some nice highlights and I come here and I'm like, hey, maybe a little darker than that. So we're going to put them right here and see how we're doing?
I dig it.
Ah, she's so pretty. Pretty, pretty, pretty. So I'm just trying to carve out a better, more accurate lip shape. Even though a lot of this is going to be covered with flour, the architecture of this will help her as a piece be more stabilized.
Right.
That's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to improve how I've got her. I wouldn't treat her nose with any less consideration than I would treat a human subject
That makes sense.
when I'm trying to paint her. Not just because if she objected, she could totally tear me up.
It's very true.
Because she could, right? I'll get a little of all the colors on here and a little of my black as I'm cooling this down. But because you have to paint the things that you love. And if you love them, you'll want to paint them well. Having a little moment here where I spend a little time with the shape of her. Trying to sort of adjust this and fix that is worth it. You know, somebody like Brisbee or a hummingbird, again, because there's nothing in common with them with human beings. If you paint one of them in such a way that's maybe not the best possible representation that anyone could ever do, if it's, as long as it still looks like a hummingbird, you're pretty good. I'm just bringing this up a little bit further because I want to reset the whole thing. Come there. Now, there's a little bit of a curl there. There's a little bit of a curl here. Curl that up. There we go. There she is. Hi, sweetie. That's what we're doing. We're saying hi. How you doing? I'm going to give you a little highlight right here, okay? Little highlighter. All right. Okay. I'm going to just make sure that that's a little blended out. Give her a little highlighter, right? A bit of that. You just come back and get whatever you need. Taking care of you. Don't you worry. I'm into it. I'm on the job. I hear you chatting with everybody.
Oh, just making sure I've gotten a couple little references up here for everybody.
Oh, what are the references?
There is some quick aspect ratio references. It's up on the blog on our website. So if you go check up on our website the latest blog entry, there's a little table there so you can quick reference aspect ratios. So if you want to scale things up and down, we've got that up there on the website now. And
do we already?
I just put that up there.
I love you.
And if you'll go to theartsherpa.com/IGTV, there's a little landing page to make it easier for you to find those episodes.
I love you and Kim. And Brian. I'm grabbing my little lamp black. I'm just trying to get her little inner nostrils here pumped in. And then make sure that I'm pulling them where I want them so I don't get anything I'm not that into, but that I'm still capturing her in a way that I'm wanting because, her noses are important. This is an important nose. And fighting for that and being in the battle for that, that is worth it to me.
We need to push your canvas, not your canvas, yep, you knew what I'm talking about. Thank you for marriage.
Thank you for marriage. Where strange instructions make sense to everybody involved. Just enjoying the Different little values of her.
Neil's really enjoying seeing all the little adjustments that you're making.
Yeah, you've got to. Be prepared to make little adjustments, even if you're very, very skilled. Sometimes you make little adjustments. Some people, everybody has a different way of processing out their data. And I've been blessed enough to be in the classrooms of a lot of amazing artists. And what I'll say is, that we as a community do not have a singular way of getting her one and done, if that makes sense. And knowing that and not putting that pressure on yourself will make so much of your time in your art journey much more enjoyable. Now, so we're going to just make sure we wrinkle this up. I'm here to wrinkle that up. And I think we got her. So she has
That's really
something that
amazing.
she's super excited about, right? I'm going to give myself a sip of coffee before I get this flower in, but I feel like I painted me a mountain gorilla.
Yeah.
John's going to let you see her for a bit.
I'm really impressed. Now,
That did her in under 6 hours to me is a total miracle.
Craig says that if you have a wall of fame, this needs to go on it. This is like one of your best ones so far. They really, really like it. So, and I'm going to say, if you go out to our website and check out there, you can find out on there, there's a list of all of the other ones that she's done. She's done some on fur. She's done on dogs. She's done a lot
I'm
of
going
other
to go
animals.
back and revisit Lions and Fox again.
Yep,
Bunch
they're
of big
all
cats.
out there for you guys. And there's a lot of folks who are really appreciating all of these animals you've done, Cinnamon. So
They're
thank
just
you so
fun
much.
to do, aren't they? They're just like, man, this is what I want to do with my Sundays. Just have a nice time and have a nice art class and paint a nice little painting and stick it on my wall.
Yeah.
And then go and then have wonderful things to worry about, like, too many paintings. Where do they all go? When you start like gifting them on to people that are like, what? These aren't oranges. Okay, I'm going to go hang it. All right. Flowies. So she's got a beautiful, beautiful set of flowers. They're quite bright. All right, so we've got a very, very bright set of flowers. And I'm going to start painting all that in. I got my zinc white, which is a wonderful friend of mine when we're doing any of this. Because the top of the flowers, let's get some good yellow out, is quite light. I don't know if you can see that. So first, I'm going to do some of these very light, bright little stem strokes that are around here. She loves her flowers. She loves her kittens. I got some titanium white there. There we go. A couple of places. I think it's important and humbling to remember that these creatures have a sense of self and identity. That they mourn, that they are curious and they celebrate things. I remember seeing a really incredible special where a troop was going through an area that it lived and it ran into a chameleon. And everybody just stopped to be like in awe of this chameleon. They're like, look at this thing on this flower. And they did. They all stopped, including the silverback who was guarding the troop, right? These things were important to them and meaningful and worth stopping on the way to wherever they were heading to check out.
They knew it's totally worth stop smelling the flowers.
And they were so gentle with this creature. They were just like, they didn't want to freak it out. I mean, they were totally wanted to see it. Like, in the same way that my son wants to see everything, right? I'm going to have these leaves down here be darker. But, I mean, the point was is that as much as they were into all that, trying to catch this little leaf shape and some of the little spots that it would be. There we go. Oh, I might use, I'm thinking maybe my might be kind of nice. Here we go, just glazed into here. Go ahead and get my titanium white. There's a little blue into that, and then I'm going to capture, I'm not going to try to paint every individual flower because the flower, if you notice, isn't in focus. The thing that was in focus was her face. And the reason that we like that is it tells us how to help the viewer see what's important in the painting. And the reason that I'm doing this sort of off-white first is so that I can pop a couple areas of just white. Just a few places. And I'm really happy with it. Is it okay if I'm a little chuffed and happy?
I think it's great.
Well, it's one thing to sit quietly in your studio and paint something. That's one thing. It's a whole nother thing to talk to people and narrate everything while you're trying to figure out how you're going to paint it.
It's true. And this is really good too.
Yeah, and I'm happy with the painting itself. I'm not just happy with the lesson. I'm happy with the painting. I have to decide if I'm happy with the lesson. I'll see how you guys enjoy it.
Oh, everyone's really enjoyed it. This
Now,
has been great.
It doesn't look that off-white on her until I come back with some bright white. And then we can see that some of that is this bright white little soft flower that she's found. Now, at the end of your work, and especially here, because boy, did we fight for this, didn't we?
Yeah.
So I'm going to get my good signing brush, and I really want you to think about the signature on her because obviously I'm going to go into the Prussian and a little of my white.
This has really come together fast. We're just over 2 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought she was going to be like 3 for sure. But I think this is a reasonable amount of time to put into a painting.
And everybody's loved it. This has been great. They've all been wishing you happy birthday. They
Thank you for
love
the happy
your
birthday
awesome
wishes.
hair. They
Thank
love how your
you.
jewelry matches your awesome hair. They want to know if that was intentional or just like total side effect.
Yeah, I do believe that. So this is a gift from my mother-in-law, and yeah, I believe she totally. She's a very coordinated person. If you saw her, where she works, all the ladies where she works, they like dress.
Oh, yes.
They dress.
To impress.
I'm impressed. I don't know
yeah.
if they're trying to impress, but I'm impressed because I go in there and I'm like, was there like a memo that was sent out? Like today is like animal print day. So it's pretty amazing. So I guess to everybody who works in the administrative office of Humble Elementary, y'all look good. Humble ISD? Humble ISD.
Yeah. There you go.
I have elementary. So. Maybe there are other schools you're in charge of too. Parents. Anyways, be good to yourself. Be good to all the creatures that live on planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Be good to each other. And I want to see you at the Easel really soon, probably tomorrow if you're doing artist trading cards for the theme announcement with design team. All right, I'll catch you then. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.